So in this video, we are going to show some of the micro tools in Canvas Studio, like the specific editing tools that many of you will be using. Not to say that you won't use the couple of tools that I identified in the last video, but these are the ones I think that are really valuable and add quite a bit of granularity to Canvas Studio. So I've got my video pulled up here. And if you notice from the last video, I've taken off my cursor bars, so I want to illustrate the first tool, and that would be a cut. So you see that I have the outline of my audio here. In video terms, that's called a waveform. And we see that I have some dead space at the beginning, quite a bit of dead space here at the end. So I want to cut that off. So I'm going to move my playhead to just before, and I'm going to select my first tool that I want to illustrate today, and that is to cut. So I'm going to select cut. And then we can do a couple of things. So we can click and drag, and there's kind of a red space here. And if we click OK, it's going to cut that. I'm going to cancel that. That's one way I can do it. The other way that I can do it is select cut. And then I can use my if I don't want to click and drag, I can use those arrows to do the same thing. So I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna click OK, and that cut the beginning. I'm gonna do the same thing for the end. So I'm going to move my playhead over here. And let's see. So this, and then the video gets into something else. So I wanna cut it right there. So I'm going to cut, and I'm going to move my this time arrow over to the right, and it cuts all that, or selects all of that to the right there, all that dead space, and I'm going to cut that. Cool. So now I am left with just the video that I want to edit. So that's the cut tool. So the next tool that I want to illustrate is the copy tool. And that's when we have a segment that we might want to copy and use later again in the video. So let's just say, for example, that I want to catch this little bit of Captain America actually catching Mjolnir. Yeah, so let's say that I want to use this little one again. So I place my playhead at the beginning of the episode or the segment that I want to copy. And I'm going to click copy. And then I'm going to drag what to copy. All right, so I'm going to click and drag. And you can see that there's a white segment on my timeline that's outlined. And so I'm just going to get to that. Beauty. And I'm going to click OK. And so that copies that bit. And then what I do, and let's just say for argument's sake that I want to put it right here at the very end, you can see on my toolbar that it has anticipated my next move. So that if I click Insert Paste, the insert is going to happen. And then the paste is going to happen, and that then inserts and pastes that segment that I copied right at the end of my video. So we can see, we'll just move the playhead a little bit, and then there it is, what I pasted. So that's a really cool way that I can copy, insert, and paste a segment that I may want to replay again in my video, either earlier on or later on. So I'm going to click Control Z, and that Control Z is a shortcut, if you don't know what it is, for undo the last command, and that's on a Windows machine. So the next tool I want to highlight is hide, and then we can hide either our cursor or our webcam during a segment of the video. Now, I didn't have either my cursor or my webcam as a part of this recording. So you're going to select the hide tool and hide cursor tool, and then you're just going to drag the segment that you want to hide the cursor and then click OK. Now, again, my cursor wasn't a part of this, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that out. And you can do the same thing for your webcam. Now, if you want to hide your cursor and your webcam throughout the entire video, you can come up here to the Properties panel and, click to hide your cursor. By the way, you could do the same thing with the audio. You can turn off your computer audio if you accidentally had it on. And also, too, if you've got your own music that you want to load in as another layer of this recording, you can click the plus button, and then it's going to pull up your file navigator, and you can navigate to the folder where you've housed your music, and you can insert it there. So it's another aspect of the Properties panel that is of use to you, potentially, that we didn't outline in the previous video. So the next tool that I want to outline is the insert tool, and there are a lot of different inserts that we can put in here. If we had another recording, for example, and this is the most common example that we wanted to insert, we could click the insert and go to an existing recording, put the playhead where you want to insert it, and then it's going to navigate me to my computer documents folder and looking for a recording to place in there. We can also browse and switch a folder, and then by this method we can go to a place on my desktop where perhaps I have another video loaded on my computer locally that I want to insert. So that's a common insertion that we would make. There are other inserts that you can do as well. So like a pause, for example, and that would be to pause either the audio or the video if you wanted to do that. These I would encourage you to kind of pick and play around with if you're interested in that functionality. So the next tool I want to demonstrate is the narrate tool. And so we're going to click it. And then, like all the other tools, we're going to either click drag or use the arrow to highlight a segment. And then we're going to hit start. And then this is going to allow us to record a narration over the timeline and then insert it in place of, or if there's no narration, include it in our video. So it's a great way to insert narration if there isn't any, or to correct little tiny mistakes, or even maybe a sentence or two to correct a mistake that you've made in your video. And so that's how you would do it. So I'm going to get out of this now and cancel. So those are the first few set of tools, like the upper half of the toolbar that we've covered in this video. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the lower half of the toolbar, and really in the overlay and in the speed and transitions. These are the tools that I use a lot, and I think you'll find them very, very helpful. See you in the next episode.